you need to know what's happening, it's time to get in the huddle.
You're fraudulent. You're not in the business of winning football games. You're in the business of trying to prove your own asinine decisions correct. We can talk about the Irsay thing. Do I think the Saturday thing is the biggest joke in the history of the NFL? I do. But at least he was willing to say, this ain't working for me. I don't care that I just gave him extensions.
Listen to In the Huddle, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Fung is winning. Winning is Fung.
This dude has walked by my house a number of times. For the first time, he was wearing an authentic Brewers jersey with the name Cubs Lose on the back.
Cool.
He's a big Sox fan. He made sure to tell my wife this yesterday.
I am a Die Sox white fan.
So I'm sitting on the couch yesterday. My wife's doing her work on the porch, and I hear this guy go, "Hey, I know who your husband is. Tell him I'm glad the Cubs lost and I wore this to school." Now, this guy's a teacher. He was wearing an L flag as a cape.
Like he is loser man.
You will die alone.
What's too soon for a restraining order?
Yeah, you may want to let somebody know about that.
And
one more step, man.
It's bizarre, and I'm a little freaked out, and I wish my dog was more ferocious.
Chopper, sick balls.
Oh, please don't you be, please don't you be, please don't you be my neighbor.
Fung is winning. Winning is Fung.
Nicely done.
Well done. Well done.
It's been a long time, my friends. I still got it.
Absolutely ideal. Do we usually we try to set this up with an email or two?
Yeah.
This is from Sean, who says, I'm not sure if the creepy guy next door or I ended up being the worst neighbor, but let me explain. My college girlfriend and a roommate had a second-story apartment in the Quad Cities when we went to Augustana. And my girlfriend and her roommate were always adamant about shutting the windows, even though the apartment didn't have AC. We got up to 90 degrees. But they said they were certain someone was peeking in the windows at them and whispering to them. I was certain they were being paranoid until I slept over one night. I was waiting for her to get home late from bartending. I left the windows open to make it bearable to sleep, and I woke up at 11:30 expecting to see her arriving. But instead, I glanced toward the window, and there was a neighbor who's 40 to 50 staring at me while white-knuckle holding onto the stone windowsill.
What?
So he scurries down the side of the building, disappears into the dark, and believing my girlfriend and her roommate and I had to come up with a solution, we had her sleep in her roommate's room, left the window open in my vacant girlfriend's room, and we covered the windowsill with broken glass secured by caulk. 1 a.m., my girlfriend calls me. There was an ambulance next door. The creeper had his hands shredded, and he landed and broke his leg. The side of the building was covered in blood.
Gosh. Oh, my God.
Good start.
It's a
good start.
It's bloodier than I thought the start would be.
Right.
So much bloodier.
A little more violent.
It is. It really was.
That's why I chose that one.
Can I jump in real quick before we take more calls?
Of course.
If the story is your neighbor beats their spouse, that's not the spirit of the segment.
Right,
No.
Right.
That was the go-to one in my back pocket.
No.
That's not Friday Fung.
No.
That's Friday Suck. That's a different show.
Listen to Ozzy at the start.
Jeff in Arlington Heights will start us out on the score. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, guys. This isn't a creepy story, but it's something I'd never do. Years ago, we lived next to an elderly couple, and one summer, the guy found a hornet's nest in his backyard about 6 feet off one of his trees, and this hornet's nest was about the size of a basketball. Mm-hmm. And these hornets, hundreds of them are zooming in and out of this thing like it's a flight path. And I mean, there are hundreds going in and out, in and out, in and out. He goes in the house, and he comes back out with an Instamatic camera, and he walks right up to this hornet's nest, probably within 3 or 4 feet. He starts taking photos with this camera. And he's there about 2 or 3 minutes, and these hornets are zooming right past his ear, back and forth, and I'm thinking, this is not going to end up good. He turns around, he walks away, not one hornet bothered him. And that's something I would never do, but that was kind of creepy to me.
All right, I would have lit the thing on fire, but that's just me.
Okay.
This is from Mike, who says, for 1 year of my life, 1991, I rented the first floor of a house in Brookfield from a good friend of mine who's on the second floor. I always found it strange he didn't rent out the second floor of his house, since he had to take an outside flight of stairs to get up to his own entrance, while I just walked to the front door. It worked great for me, with one exception. Jeff had fallen deeply and madly in love with the Black Crowes album Shake Your Moneymaker.
Okay.
Not the entire album, though, just a couple of songs. And every night when Jeff came home from the bar he owned, he would turn on his stereo to 11 and blast the songs She Talks to Angels and Hard to Handle. Not just one time each, oh no, over and over and over for at least an hour, and just those 2 songs. Jesus. This lasted for at least 6 months. It was every single night. And other than that, greatest guy in the world. It made it impossible for me to climb the stairs, pound his door, and tell Jeff the Black Crows suck. Stop torturing me like this. I just took it. Until the day I moved out, I never said a word. So Jeff, if you're listening, the Black Crows suck, and turn that garbage down.
Nice.
Take issue with that.
Actually, hard to handle. I turn it up loud every time I hear it.
But what sucks about that is
it's Otis Redding.
Yeah.
It's 2 good songs that your neighbor has ruined for you.
Yep.
That's brutal.
I cannot listen to Pink Floyd. Same reason. Roommate just killed it.
That Spiegel with Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh,
can't even listen anymore.
Really? That's too bad. See, Pink Floyd I stopped liking, really, but
that's me with the Doors.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a minute.
Too.
Yeah,
this is bad and dumb.
Yeah, yeah. And it's what was the line from? Was it Wayne's World? Where he says it wasn't really rock, it was more a crooner working in a rock idiom.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Was that right? Yeah. Dave in Crown Point, you're on Friday Fung. Please don't you be my neighbor.
35 years ago, our first house, I started noticing our neighbor every other day would get a pizza. Okay? Mm-hmm. This went on for probably 2 years, every other day. Then one day, she was sitting in her car, and I discovered that she was gone. She died. She overdosed in her car. Well, she wasn't getting pizza. She was getting drugs delivered in a pizza box to her car. So the next day, the cops set up a sting, and they arrested the pizza guy who was delivering the drugs to her. The good thing out of it, the coupons are attached to the box. There must have been a couple hundred coupons, so we had pizza for like the next month.
And heroin, so it worked out great for everyone.
He took the coupons off the box.
Nick says... well, she was dead, but free pizza.
It's a buy one, get one heroin.
Right, exactly. I don't know. This is your 10th, so you get a free bag of heroin with extra fentanyl in it. Nick says, I'm not a neighbor person. I've never been one to walk up and introduce myself when I move in or they move in. I stick to the long distance wave. So Here it is. Beautiful early November Saturday. College football's on. I fire up the grill, throw on some brats. I'm standing there. The next door neighbor's hosing off a patch of grass. We make eye contact. So I felt like I needed to give a wave and a hello. He says, hey, how are you? I'm Gary. So I go over and introduce myself. Big mistake, because without any pause, he goes right into his life story.
Oh, God.
He's lived here for 20 years. He tells us what our houses were built on. Then he transfers over to how much he hates teachers and how he's not racist.
Good start.
But he then tells stories about working in the city and ensuring me that he was pretty racist. And this lasted 45 minutes. So in fear of the possibility of setting him off on other tangents, I told him I had to go check my food, and I had charred the 3 brats I had on the grill. Never again. Yep.
They always tell you. I'm not racist.
But... Yeah, I'm not racist or nothing. Well,
I know what's coming.
I think you're about to be racist. Jason in Woodridge is on WSCR on Friday Fung. Hello, Jason.
Jason was about to start a story with, I'm not.
Right. Not that I'm a racist. I better bail on this. In Dwight, it is Kurt. He is on the score.
Yeah, so I've got a pretty crazy one here. Straight out of college, Buddy and I moved in together, kind of out in the middle of nowhere in the country, close to where we live. And one morning I go into work, and I drive out of my driveway, and there's this Jeep Wrangler sitting outside, and I walked to the guy, and I noticed he'd been sitting there a while. I said, hey, is everything okay? And he just oddly looks over at me, and something went wrong. And I go, what do you mean something went wrong? He goes, I did something bad. I'm like, okay, you did something bad. And he just kind of went on with this odd look on his face, and he really wouldn't say anything other than that. So I went back into the house, and I told my buddy, I'm like, hey, I think something's going on with the dude across the street here, and maybe we need to call the cops. And he kind of just looked at me. He goes, why? What does he do? And he couldn't really give me any rhyme or reason or any other idea of what he may or may not have done. So just kind of didn't think about it anymore, went to work, and later that day, we had heard that there was a murder committed about 15 minutes from where we live.
Yeah, that's something bad.
What?
Yeah, that the guy had gotten away in a Jeep Wrangler, and I was talking to the guy. It was the craziest thing I'd ever heard of, and this is out by Ottawa, Illinois.
Oh,
it was just
God.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, I was just like in awe. I'm like, I was talking to this guy this morning, and wow.
I don't know that I'd sleep for days.
Yeah, that might get to me a little bit.
Oh my God.
Yes, that would be something bad. It's not like you didn't lock
that option.
He didn't lock his keys in the car, right?
No. I haven't paid the utility bill in weeks.
I bought expired milk. No. All right, this is from Keaton. Keaton says, over the past year, I've had the unfortunate pleasure of living next to an individual who refers to himself by his self-created nickname, Wild Bill.
Oh, that's not good.
To complete the picture, Wild Bill is a senior citizen. He claims to live by his code of pumping iron and tagging ass. Can I say that? Which I find
tagging iron.
Which right. Do not transpose that. If you wake up one day and you get that spoonerized,
he's got it painted on the walls just for that very reason.
Written on his hand. Oh, I pump the iron.
That's why this month has been so weird.
Yeah, this has really been weird. It's just taste in my mouth. And I find it ironic at best, given his condition. He did serve in Vietnam and claims, I effing loved it.
Okay.
He claims to have been rocking the mullet before it became cool. Don't live near Manly. The individual is covered in a thick sweater of body hair and will sunbathe in the back alley in his boxers. He claims to be irresistible to women, which is aggressively false. I would argue he's irresistible harassing women, but I don't think that's the angle he's looking for. To make matters worse, Wild Bill, without warning, will try to show people his hernia scar. It does.
Oh, Bill, stop.
It doesn't matter how much you tell him to stop. It is going to be seen. We appreciate his service in Vietnam.
We do.
But for the love of God, Bill, please move to another location so you don't have to bother the rest of humanity.
That is a private scar, my friend. I'm good.
This segment is brought to you by Top Step Trader. Farbio is in Batavia and is on the score on Friday Fung.
Hey, guys, I'm glad this is back. Hopefully we can go to TV Diddlers afterward and have a little happy hour celebration.
Sure, drink specials all day.
Well, I grew up on the northwest side of Chicago, and a little old lady lived next door in a 3-flat, and then she died one day, and a family moved in, and the next thing we know, that one family turned into like 3 families that moved in, and one of the families owned a used car dealership where they used to park cars up and down the street. So my dad was okay with it at first, but then when the weather turned bad, he got pissed off. So one day I'm leaving to go see my friend's house, and I see my dad outside, and he's kind of hunched over, and I say, "What are you doing, Dad?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing." And I just leave, and then I look out of the corner of my eye as I'm walking down the block. I see my dad trying to light one of the cars on fire. And thankfully, another car came down the street, and he ran in the house. And so thankfully he was a failed arsonist. But just upset him so much that
he came home
one
fire?
day and he just couldn't take it. He tried to set the car on fire, and I'm like, I told him this story about 20 years ago. I go, Dad, I saw you doing this, and I'm glad you failed because you're still with us. So.
Well, thank you for that, Farbio. Appreciate it. Rudy weighs in. He says, my neighbor at my lake house. Former art teacher, former beach master, former stoner, and folk singer. He owns the lot between our houses and has 1,000 random things, including $1,000 worth of train sets. Pictures attached. He's absolutely crazy. People stop and park in front of my house, and they walk through it. It's like I have to live in an amusement park. He constantly sings loudly every day, whenever he feels like it, at any time. And despite the fact that we argue about whether or not he's racist, he is racist. We didn't get along much at first, but he's kind of become an acquired taste.
It's kind of.
That's honest enough. We are going to do more of this after a brief timeout. 312-644-6767. I have an email that is going to end all emails. This is not only a please don't you be my neighbor, or please don't be my neighbor. This is also sort of a live ringers. This is the live ringers version
of please don't be my neighbor.
Yes.
All right. Friday Fun continues. We want your phone calls too. 312-644-6767. Please don't be my neighbor.
Fung is winning. Winning is Fung.
Rob Gronkowski is probably the worst neighbor we could ask for. You know he's going to be partying day and night. It's not like it's that tasty piece of ass, Julian Edelman.
He calls himself the squirrel.
Why? Because, according to Gronk, he is a squirrel. We're in the middle of Friday Fung and enjoying the hell out of it right now. Please don't you be my neighbor. The bottom of the hour brought to you by Northwestern Football. Join Northwestern Football. Again, could we vet this, please? This is Northwestern basketball.
Yeah.
At the new Welsh Ryan Arena this season. Home opponents include Michigan State, Michigan, and Illinois. Season tickets to see Chicago's Big Ten team are on sale now at nusports.com. Treat us like we're Ron Burgundy. If it's written here, we're going to read it. If they don't match up the proper sports, it's not going to sound
They did
correct.
play a football game in there. It'd be fun to watch. I'd go see it.
Now, how about this? This is interesting. Ken says, my neighbor, an attorney, uses orange traffic cones and yellow caution tape when doing home improvement projects or delineating tied-down inflatable Christmas decorations.
What? Why?
Like, parking dibs in a snowstorm is one thing. Using your own traffic cones.
You don't have to cordon off your holiday decorations.
Yeah,
they're there in your lawn.
That is odd.
Don't be my neighbor.
Dave in Berwyn is on the score.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, Dave.
I'm good. This isn't my neighbor. This is my mom and my brother live in a two-flat right next door, right across the street from a church and a school. Right next door, the diocese owns the house. It's a single family, so the priest would get to live there for free, I'm guessing, go across the street, do services and all that. So this is about 10 or 12 years ago, I want to say.
The house in Spotlight.
He was mysteriously killed and I believe tortured in his shower. And there was all kinds of far-flung theories about organized crime or a grown-up altar boy came back to get revenge, stuff like that. So that was really crazy. It took a while for them to, I guess they wanted to get out of the house. 6, 8, 10 months, maybe a year later, I don't even remember. Somebody bought the house and they were in there for about a month. And my mom said they must have left in the middle of the night because of like hauntings. So I don't know if it was the same guy who got murdered or who it was, but she's like, they were there one day and they were gone the next, and they left a lot of stuff.
Hauntings?
Well, that was a lot.
Not just one haunting.
That was a lot.
That was
a lot.
That was 2 hauntings.
This is why we've started them both. Both segments just really violent.
How many murders have we had?
I don't know, but let's put the Fung back in Friday.
The murder, we had the heroin overdose, but pizza coupons.
Listen, that's just being thrifty.
There were
okay?
pizza coupons. Yep.
If those half off, buy one get one coupons, whatever they weren't going to spend themselves.
I mentioned sometimes something like "Don't You Be My Neighbor" and live ringers. They kind of come home to roost together.
Okay,
this is from Matthew. In the mid 1950s in northern Wisconsin, my great aunt had a neighbor. Not a next-door neighbor, but a neighboring property. They both lived in the country. Yeah. They would come over and try to play games like hide-and-go-seek or tag with her small children. And she found it odd that an adult man would spend so much time playing with kids. He was kind enough and unthreatening toward them, so she allowed it. It wasn't until several years later she found out that this neighbor was Ed Gein, the serial killer after whom the books Psycho and Silence of the Lambs were patterned.
Oh, my God.
Yup.
Oh, my God. Do not be my neighbor.
Bad. If you're on the list of bad neighbors, probably Ed Gein is on there.
Top 5.
Unless maybe he bakes out like a killer blueberry cobbler. Every once in a while. Sure,
He always has that cup of sugar you need.
He's murdered a bunch of people, but if you need a yellow onion,
that's the guy.
Ed Gein is your man.
Or an earlobe.
Ed, I am all out of earlobes. Do you have any?
Dave in Richmond, you're on Friday Fung on the Score.
Hey, how's it going, guys? When I was in the Army, I had a couple crazy roommates anyway, one of which, his name was Hanson. We were at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Very much Fort Sill, Oklahoma, so we used to play a lot of spades and drink a lot of Budweiser and Wild Turkey. Well, Hanson used to like to snack on sardines. So while we were playing spades and slamming Bud and doing shots of Wild Turkey, he'd like to light his farts on fire.
Farts on fire.
Montage.
One desire.
Training montage. Idiot. Absolute idiot.
America's Armed Forces.
This is how we have the finest fighting force in the world.
Not football.
Not college football. Sardines and wild turkey. It's like Rocky through the snow. Same thing.
In Geneva, it's Matt. He's on the Score.
Hi there.
Hello.
Matt. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey,
Love your show.
Love your suit.
Sure. My brothers and I, we rode dirt bikes a lot. We had a couple of CRF 80s and a couple of two-strokes, 250s, 450s, etc.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We had this big field next to our house, and this neighbor of ours, when he moved in, was a really nice guy, but what ended up happening was, as we got older and we got onto the bigger bikes, they're extremely loud, he used to take photos of us. Now, mind you, we're all kids, and we're going about 60, 70 miles an hour in our cornfield, and he's getting photos of us every time we go in. So we found out about this, and to get back at him, we used to go do rooster tails on his yard and rev our dirt bikes right in front of his garage, just to piss him off.
I think it got him.
I think we lost him.
I think the neighbor found him again.
I think you've been discovered.
It was you.
They're on to you. Mike in Hillside says a corner unit condo, a second floor of a 6-story building, a floor-to-ceiling window that faces a neighborhood subdivision. And there's one house that has one of those holiday decoration things that is a laser projector that projects designs onto the front of the house. And everything happens to line up just so that when it's on, it happens to get into my bedroom through that window.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives my wife's cat crazy. I was very patient waiting through the holiday season, even though they left it on all night long, every night. But in late January, I started to lose my patience. And I go and I confront the neighbor about it being time to take it down since the holidays were over. Just my luck. The lasers project different decorations for every holiday. So it's essentially a year-round decoration, and I am out of luck. I'm going crazy. My cat is going crazy. What do I do? I don't really have a rooting interest in this.
Shut off the power?
Yeah, I don't. Don't have a cat.
Yeah, well, I mean it's like torture for them though. Having that little spot that they can't find. It looks like they're having fun, but apparently that's just torture. I don't really care either way, but don't do it.
Yeah, I think the best answer to that for me is don't have a cat.
Don't have the cat in the first place.
Right, because then it wouldn't. It's not a
have
problem
the
for
cat
you.
sleep somewhere else. If it's only come through the one window,
right?
Relocate the cat.
Tony is in Lake Forest. He is going to be our final contributor to this fine edition of Friday Fung on the Score.
Hey guys, I hope I live up to the billing. My former neighbor is Sauganash. I would see her all the time. The only words that I ever spoke to her was introducing myself while waiting for the home inspection. I said nothing to her in 10 years and would see her routinely 3 to 4 times a week, and she would not talk to anybody on the block full of cops, policemen, firemen. all sorts of city workers, typical Saguenay tight-knit neighborhood, and she talked to nobody. And she was not like a shut-in or anything. She was always out doing things, but there it was. 10 years, 3 words. Best I can do.
It's a good neighbor.
Yeah.
It's a great neighbor.
Yes.
That's a perfectly wonderful neighbor.
Yeah, I need all those neighbors.
That'd be wonderful. In fact, that neighbor solves the problem on almost every other bad neighbor we had throughout the Don't You Be My Neighbor.
Well, we had some deaths in there.
Well, okay, it doesn't solve the deaths. That's fair.
No, too many people died last year.
Fair.
I had one guy call and say, yeah, my neighbor, turns out he was a rapist. I'm like,
nope.
Okay.
Not do that one then.
Yeah, that's...
No.
I mean, murder's kind of funny after a while.
Kind of funny. It's
when enough time passes.
really, if there's coupons involved.
Well, we had 2 murders and 1 death, right? So
we had the 2 murders and the OD.
Right, for the pizza boxes.
And the horrible maiming that started us off.
Yes, that's true.
That's right. The horrible
but that guy had it coming.
Well, sure. Deserved it. Absolutely deserved it. Well done.
Outstanding.
Round of applause to all of you.
Really, really good. Round of applause also to Mitch Rosen, who ended the marathon radio production meeting by saying there's leftover mayonnaise on the 10th floor.
And you went to go get it, didn't you?
And I've got
thinly shaved roast beef.
Oh, that's not roast beef.
Oh, what is it?
That's pastrami.
Oh, that's pastrami. That's what that is. Pastrami.
Yeah. Come on.
Good for you. Wow, the light's weird in here.
It's mayonnaise.
Plus you got the mustard going on here. I don't know what you do. Pastrami and mustard?
Yes, you do pastrami and mustard. What planet are you from?
I thought that was the Thousand Island thing. That's what I had on the sandwich we had when Sage came in.
You can do that thing and make it like a Reuben style.
I didn't know that I had a choice. You teach me, lead me in the ways of the deli. I know nothing.
We are going to talk to an old friend next.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, big weekend for the Chicago Marathon. Kerry Pinkowski's going to stop by. He's got all sorts of things going on. And listen.
What?
This is the marathon for you Score listeners because Nick Shepkowski is running it. And hopefully he survives.
By running it, he's not in charge of it.
No, he's running.
Like running it.
He's running in it.
Nick is actually
he's going to run the marathon.
And he's going to help raise money for Camp One Step and Children's Oncology Services, and we thank him for it. So we're going to talk to Kerry and get all the information that you need about Sunday and our fabulous broadcast. It's all coming your way next on The Score. Thank yous to Hub Arkush, Pete Futak, and Sahadev Sharma for joining us today. Zawoski, Gill, and Diaz, the producers. Monday is going to be a non-Bears Monday, Bears Monday with Rich Campbell and Patrick Manley, with the Bears getting right back at it, looking for a much-needed win coming up against the Saints. But a huge, huge day for this city is Sunday, and that means we're already here. These years go so fast. We are once again at another Bank of America Chicago Marathon, and here to talk about not just the race itself Sunday, but the award-winning broadcast that's taking place right here on these airwaves is Kerry Pinkowski, the executive director of the race. And hello again.
That's right, Dan. You can listen to wire-to-wire coverage on AM 670, The Score. And you've got your champion, Nick Shepkowski, who's going to be carrying the banner for the station. I just saw him. He was having his walk around here. So we're looking forward to him, and he's running for Team One Step.
He is.
So
we're very excited about that.
He's checking off all the boxes.
You want to donate to him, and just check out Nick Shepkowski on Twitter and throw him a couple bucks because it's going to go to help kids with cancer and leukemia.
You can make the argument that Shep is the poster boy for the Chicago Marathon. Really, been up and grown up around it, broadcast it. And now he's committed himself to running
committed
it.
To it. Yeah,
it's impressive.
I just saw him. He was down at the expo, got his packet. He's all fired up. I think he's going to do it pretty well.
If you'd have told, I think he will too. I mean, he's a dedicated athlete when he gets himself after it. If you'd have told me as we were living together about 8-10 years ago that he was ever going to run a Chicago Marathon, I would have laughed at you. I would have thought he was having to run away from somebody instead. This is impressive.
But that's the positive influence that the event has.
It is.
He's been involved and been, watching, covering it, and now he's in it. So we'll be looking for him.
What does the field look like for the elite runners, for the competitors?
Well, Dan, 42nd year of this great tradition, Bank of America Chicago Marathon. We got some amazing athletes up front. All 4 of our defending champions, male, female, wheelchair, and men and women. So Mo Farah, 4-time Olympic gold medalist, is back to defend his title. And Bridget Kosgei, who won last year, pretty much ran away with it, has been on an amazing trajectory. She won the London Marathon, had a great second half. Came to the United States this year, won Peachtree, which is a big iconic event in the summertime, and then was up in Manchester, England, and broke the world record for the half marathon. So I saw her this morning. She is in very, very good shape. I think Paula Radcliffe's course record former world record is in jeopardy. And then on the women's side, with the wheelchairs, that's going to be our U.S. Olympic trials qualifier. So we got a great international field in the top Americans. So a lot going on Sunday.
A lot of people listening who may go run this thing, and obviously there are some weathers changing going on. Advice to the runners that are going to be plodding around at 4:30, so flying at 4:30.
We have a large percentage of our runners first-time marathon runners, but just listen to our updates. Check our website or look at the text we're going to give you. We're going to give you some weather updates. We're going to have some dicey weather today and tomorrow, but it looks like it's going to dry out. We might have some steady wind. But I was with Khalid Kanuchi this morning when he broke the world record. It was 16-mile-an-hour winds when he did it. So there's a lot of shelter on the course, and I think we'll be fine. I mean, it's cool weather, which is good, cool, dry weather, so that's a good thing.
Any advice for people who are observing for the best spots, security concerns, et cetera? Just any bullet points for people who maybe they haven't come down and seen it before?
Go to our website, chicagomarathon.com. One of the great facets of the Bank of America Chicago Marathon is for our participants, great tour of the city, the architecture, the neighborhoods, but it's very accessible for friends, loved ones, significant others. Public transportation, on foot, you can get to different locations. I mean, that's one of the great thrills of it is you can get around the course, and if you want to go out and cheer for Nick at different locations, you guys could get out and get around there. So. Security, that's the baseline of what we do. We have screening, accessing the park for participants. Marathon Sunday is like no other Sunday and like every other day. So be vigilant, be aware of what's going on. Don't leave any backpacks, set down everything. Just what your normal behavior, just be aware of what's going on. Chicago Police Department does an amazing job with federal assets, and we'll have a safe and secure event. Excuse me.
The broadcast day has literally won awards. Don't say that
on the wall.
Yeah, we literally do have awards for the marathon broadcast, and it takes a ton of people, a ton of coordination to cover this thing the way the Score and Josh Liss and the folks at WBBM have teamed up to do it. What does our broadcast day look like?
Our broadcast, you've got an all-star team. You've got obviously Josh Liss, Greg Meyer, Chicago Marathon, Boston Marathon champion, Larry Rose. I'm losing my thought here. Chris Wehrman is on the lead vehicle, and Larry Rawson, iconic broadcast legend, will be in the booth with those guys. And Mitch Rosen is producing. He's rolling his sleeves up, so he's coming down. He'll be part of it. So we've got the all-star lineup.
And is there pregame, postgame?
Yeah, we come on at 7 in the morning. We'll go 7 to 11. So wire-to-wire coverage. We'll get some pre-interviews with a lot of the athletes. We'll have guests Joan Samuelson, Dina Castor. A lot of these guys will come on and give some insight. Yeah. And then these guys do an amazing job of just covering it wire to wire. It's fantastic. So a lot of people are commenting on the great job they do. Josh has been amazing. He's done the preview shows for many years. So just a great team.
You mentioned the
listen up. You guys got to get up and. I don't know what time you guys get up on Sunday, but you got
for Marathon Sunday. Yeah. I got up pretty early, Karen. I'm in and around. I'm bouncing into places. I'm going to watch Shep run.
It's a big deal what you do with the charitable component as well. Really setting an example for other marathons out there, making it a critical part, not just something you pay lip service to. Really encouraging it. I know what has gone on behind the scenes with how the charities have grown and shared best practices and really tried to work their way into bigger and bigger things. And there's so many people end up helped by this race that it's doing so much more than just having people run around.
Sure, Dan. I mean, you point that out. Last year we raised $22.8 million race morning. We have 160 charities that benefit that. There's a lot of local charities and national charities. So that philanthropic piece, is a big part of what we do. I mean, there's the social piece, which is the health and fitness, and the economic piece. We talk about how many people are here from around. We have all 50 states, over 110 countries, but What's near and dear to us, and Bank of America has been a great partner with us in this is the philanthropic piece, the charitable piece. So we got over 11,000 runners that are running for charity, raising money. So, and we had a big year last year, big increase. So we're hoping to improve on 22.8 million from last year.
It's been a great partnership for all these years with the Bank of America and the Bank of America Chicago Marathon here at the Score. Here is to a productive, safe, and secure, exciting, competitive race.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your help all year.
Take care.
That is Kerry Pinkowski, the executive director of the race itself, the Bank of America Chicago Marathon. We're going to do transition with the afternoon show. I saw Matt Spiegel out there with Danny Parkins, so I imagine that's going to be the people with whom we will be talking in just a moment on the Score.
What's going on, everyone? Elliot Shore Parks here to talk to you about the latest podcast from Odyssey, the best football show. What is it? Every day, latest rumors, latest buzz around the league, latest from college football, all the latest scores, the latest takes, the best takes, everything you come to expect from the excellent Odyssey NFL coverage every day in your podcast feed at 6 a.m. So make sure you start every day with the best football show on the Odyssey app or wherever you like to listen to podcasts.